So you mean to tell me a British adult creator went to Bali during Schoolies Week and now she's facing 15 years because she tried to film in the wrong country? That vacation just took a real left turn. So here's what happened. Bonnieblue, real name is Tia Emma Billinger, 26-year-old British known for shot content and some wild stunts online.
But where do I get the five guys from? The five guys. I didn't know if it was like a special room or you can take me out back.
No, I don't think that's happening.
What about after your shift? I mean, I'd want to give you, a good rating.
I'm a Christian man and I'm saving myself to marriage.
Was arrested December 4th after Bali police ran up in a rented studio and said she was preparing to film pornography. Now, mind you, she gets famous for sleeping with 1,000 men in like 12 hours.
And in 24 hours, so it's going to be very quick.
How long is the day going to take?
I don't know how long today's going to take because I feel like the first few hours isn't busy. And then as it goes on, it'll get more busy.
She wasn't alone. They detained 17 men, 14 Australians, and 3 Brits, all tourists that allegedly pulled up to be a part of this big challenge that she was supposed to do. Now, she got bailed out, but her passport was taken. She's under immigration detention, stuck in Bali until the government decides what they want to do with her. Potential charges up to 15 years and 6 billion rupiah fine. See, now, what I want people to understand is that Western creative culture has people thinking they can film anything, anywhere, anytime, but Indonesia is not Miami, it's not Ibiza. It's a conservative nation with strict little morality laws, especially around porn. Now, we've seen this constantly with people like Vitali just recently and several other content creators, and these other nations love to use American people as an example when they come and mess around. And Bonnie wasn't subtle. She literally promoted the Bali trip online, targeting Schoolies Week. Then when fresh, barely 18 Australian kids flood Indonesia to party, we get all confused. Here's the part people don't really want to admit. The algorithm likes reward escalation. It trains you to one-up yourself every single month, especially when you're a creator. Shock becomes expectation, not the exception. So we often don't really understand that half the stuff we're doing is borderline psychotic because most people only identify with chaos because clout chasing is a real drug. Now, the whole situation speaks to something entirely bigger. We're in a generation when people treat their lives like story arcs. Everything is for content, everything is just strictly for performance. So we don't really know how to distinct the two because this alternate reality becomes our reality, then crazy things like this happen that shouldn't even be normal. But it gets strategic because creators assume global reach equals global freedom, but governments don't negotiate with YouTubers, as we keep seeing over and over and over again. Indonesia uses immigration detention as a political tool, not to punish, but to keep you until the media cools down. She's being used as an example, right? Foreigners get made into examples, especially when their content embarrasses the country and makes headlines. I mean, we've seen this countless of times, and people are assuming that she may get out, but they're gonna definitely hold her to until a press conference is done and the media chills. The world is not really an open set. The government still has to maintain order no matter how famous or no matter how many followers you have. The law doesn't care about your followers. And there's two realities meet. Now, someone gets stuck in Bali with no passport, right? This moment is a warning for the entire creator economy. If you're not adjusting to where you are, it doesn't matter how big you are. And the algorithm will not save you from real life foolishness, from paying lawyers, having to deal with lawyer fees. So now we have this creator who's stuck in this other country because she wants to do some type of bang buzz situation and recruit a bunch of young adults. Now, even if this is the case, right? A lot of people think that because you are of a certain stature that you can do what you want and it's not going to attract the younger adults. Now, when you think about porn and all these different things, who is the ideal target audience, especially when they get to meet a creator that they probably only get to see online? Now, her claim to fame is sleeping with 1,000 men in about 12 hours. So now she's going on a notable tour. And we've seen this with countless other creators. And she had the one of, I believe it was Lily Phillips, who not too long ago, maybe last year, was running around sleeping with 100 men. Okay, so this has become this almost shameful, degenerate behavior has become a part of society's programming and becomes almost a normal thing to celebrate. So, I mean, porn stars and all these different people have been around since the beginning of inception because, it's a normal practice for most people in today's time. But what we've been noticing now is that the influencer has become more of a leader in certain groups. I mean, there's people with the rise of OnlyFans. I mean, I did saw a report that between Queens in New York, they are paying the highest, I believe, in as far as OnlyFans contributors, just in this one borough, around $50 million contributed to OnlyFans between just 2 to 3 boroughs inside of New York City. So clearly the problem will ever de-escalate. The problem is when creators from America, I mean, look what they did to Brittany Griner in these other countries like Russia. And this is why places like Dubai have all these strict laws. But people like Bonnie think that they can do whatever they want and never gonna have to see the repercussions. Yes, if this was vice versa, if this was a male looking for young females to recruit into pornography, and I always say, the way men are treated in America, and these are essentially little boys, it is very much desensitized and it's not looked at as a real problem or a real issue. So when you have people, I believe that she should be held accountable for her actions because you are attracting young males. And young males are always overlooked upon in America for some odd reason, as if they should not be protected just as much as girls should be protected. Now, we all know that a lot of people in the OnlyFans industry and in the porn industry, that's why you see a lot of regulating on these different websites where you now have to use your IDs because they're cracking down, because a lot of this industry is based around underage children participating in these acts that are being displayed on camera. So when it comes to this, and you're facing almost up to 15 years in prison, I don't think there should be any type of surprise, especially when you're around young adults. And I guess the claim is that, you know, there's a lawyer from out there who's saying that she won't likely do any time, but they probably will hold her until January or February. I strongly believe that this should be a very much, if not a warning, definitely a notification to people that they're not fucking around other countries. And it just goes to show how much of a circus show that America actually is, that America doesn't really take this stuff too serious. And like, there's advocacy groups that have to crack down on Pornhub and all the child trafficking issues that all these major sites have been going through for so long. And now we have this independent wave where the OnlyFans creator is becoming empowered. This is the things that kind of come with it. So you're planning a Bang Bus tour, and you're almost like going on tour like a rapper. You're in the club popping bottles, promoting yourself, tell everyone to meet me here, because the person who could sleep with 1,000 men in 12 hours, it's like breaking Guinness World Records in the sex worker field. So it's became more so entertainment than it has become what it really is. These are people with severe mental health issues. I've interviewed actually a female who was doing OnlyFans, and she was a top creator, but she was going in against some real, how do I phrase this? She was being sexually assaulted since she was 4 months old up until she was like a 14-year-old girl. So a lot of people don't do this willingly, but on display, it looks like this is such the best thing to do. So I say we gotta move with precaution as we analyze the state of OnlyFans, as we analyze the way sex work is being displayed, because once again, that's somebody's daughter, and once again, there's someone's daughter looking up to that and wanting to do that, but not understanding that a lot of these people in these sex fields have been through the most traumatic things that they'll never tell you, because why express your trauma when you could just use your trauma and make money and look like you're happy? And then in 20 years, they say, you know, those are the worst times of my life. We hear all the crazy stories. We hear all the different things about what men were secretly doing behind the scenes and how they barely had any control of their lives. But you let me know your thoughts. My name is Dre. Like and subscribe for, you know, more of the cultural intelligence. We got to stay sharp out here. The war is in the mind. It's not anything else. I'm gone. Peace.